What's happening, guys? Jim the Game Guru. Alright, today, Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. This is a standalone game. That is not, it's not an expansion to Terraforming Mars. It does have similar terminologies to the Terraforming Mars game. This game reminds me, there's certain aspects to this game that remind me of It's a Wonderful World, but this game is much more complicated than It's a Wonderful World, and it's not a card drafting game, but it is an engine building game. If you guys are new here, please consider subscribing or following. So let's go ahead and tear into this, take a look at some of the components, and do a quick overview of how the game is played. Alright, let's take a look at what we have on the table here. So, we have over here is the main game board in this game. It has the Mars planet in the center with some tiles that are face down. These are going to be your oceans tiles, and then you're going to flip them over. We also have two gauges here, one on the right and one on the left. The gauge on the right is the oxygen level. And in this game, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get this oxygen level all the way up to the top. On the left side, we have the temperature, and that's another thing we're trying to do is raise the temperature of Mars all the way up to the very top. There's three conditions in this game in order to signal the end of game and then count up all the victory points at that point. And that is getting oxygen temperature all the way to the top and flipping all of the ocean tiles on the board. Now, you're not going to place any additional tiles on the board. That's one thing that's different from this and the Terraforming Mars game, is that you're not going to actually be placing other tiles on here. The tiles on the board are already there. You have your little markers here on the board that indicate your starting TR, and everyone starts off at 5. This is kind of like your victory point tracker. Over here, you have a copper cube, a gold cube, and a silver cube. Let me bring these up and I'll show you guys what they look like. And they have a nice look to them, kind of glossy. Gold, silver, copper. These indicate how many of a resource you have. So if you have a copper, it's 1 of that resource. If you have a silver, it is 5. If you have a gold, it is 10 of that resource. Then we also have these little forest icons that give you additional victory points. You'll end up getting a lot of these when you flip over tiles, ocean tiles on the planet, or on certain cards, certain action cards might give them to you. You do have a 5.12, and the only time you're going to use this 5 point is when you run out of the single point ones. So when these single point ones run out, you just swap it out with a 5, and then you put the single ones back, so then you can start checking the singles again. Right here we have 2 player mats for this player and then this for this player. I'm not going to go deep into the gameplay because this game is actually, there's a lot to track in this game. And I'm trying to go slow enough that I point out every little thing that I can, because there's so much crap that I'm sure that I'm going to forget something somewhere. Right here we have corporation cards. So let me show you the corporation card and the anatomies for it. On the left, you have like a tag for the corporation card. You have the name up here on the top. Up here is your starting mega credits that you get. This is the logo of the corporation. And then you'll have abilities down here of this corporation. This one says when you start with 27 mega credits, when you play a building card, one that's tagged with the building, you pay 2 mega credits less for it. It also has an effect ability to each time you play steel production, excluding this, gain 1 TR. This one over here, this corporation, Inventrix, has this as a tag. It also starts off with 33 mega credits, and then you start off with 3 additional cards. Every player in this game gets dealt 8 cards, but this player over here is going to have 11 cards to start off the game, because its corporation's bonus is to get 3 additional cards when they start the game. There's also an effect here when playing this card with requirements. When playing a card with requirements, you may consider the oxygen or temperature 1 color higher or lower. So that comes in handy whenever you have certain actions that say a certain temperature needs to be at a certain point, or certain oxygen needs to be at a certain point. This corporation will allow you to satisfy that condition, but 1 temperature lower or higher. The same thing with the oxygen. Every player also ends up getting 5 phase cards to themselves. Now, in this game, what you have is like this voting process. So every player will pull one card out, and they will vote. So like this player might want to vote for production, and then another player will vote for something too. You're not going to know what the players vote for until the everyone reveals their cards. So this is going to be the development one right here. It says each player may play 1 green project card. If you have a bonus at the very bottom of these cards right here, and you'll see the bonus for these cards are whenever you pick a certain phase and you get into that phase, you get the bonus. So the bonus in this will be pay 3 mega credits less for the card you play this phase. I feel like development is one of those cards that most people will end up playing throughout every single round, but not always. There are going to be phases where in a round that will not be voted on. Then you have construction phase here. Each player play 1 blue card or red card, and then you have a bonus for that. And then actions the same way. Each player activates any action effects and standard actions. So whatever action cards, blue action cards you have in your corporation, you can actually play those effects on those cards. And any standard action. So I'm going to get into the standard action on the mat. I'll show you the player mat here in a second. Then this one also has a bonus, just like the other ones. You may activate 1 action an additional time. So I want to take a quick pause here before I continue on with the video to explain how you raise the oxygen and how you raise the temperature and how you can actually end up flipping these particular ocean tiles that are on the planet. Now, the way you do that is through the action phase. So whenever someone selects the blue action phase to resolve the abilities on action cards, there are also simple actions there that you can actually perform in order to raise these values or flip an ocean. Now, the simple actions, and I'm going to use the manual here really quick because it's the easiest way. These are actually represented on the player cards themselves as well at the very, very bottom. So one action you can do is spend 8 plants, if you build up 8 plants in your resource section, to gain a forest victory point token and raise the oxygen 1 step. The other way you can do it is you can spend 20 mega credits to gain a forest victory point and raise the oxygen 1 step. You can also spend 8 heat to raise the temperature 1 step, or you can spend 14 mega credits to raise the temperature 1 step, or you can spend 15 mega credits to flip an ocean tile. When a player flips an ocean tile, they immediately receive the reward shown on the back of the tile. So that is how you end up raising those values. And they are also represented on the bottom of your player mat right down here. So they have it in icon format. So when you're in an action phase, you can perform each one of these simple basic actions to raise the values on the planet board. Production phase, this is where you're going to actually end up getting a lot of your resources. So when you have your production phase, each player gains heat plants and draws cards according to their production. They also gain mega credits equal to their production plus TR. Okay? And then the bonus is gained 4 mega credits if you selected that. And then there's research, where all players draw 2 cards and keep 1. Draw an additional 3 cards and keep 1 additional card if you picked that card during the planning phase. Okay, so every single player gets the same 5 types of card. Let me just go ahead and show you the player mat here. So here you go. This on the very top is telling you the 5 different phases. You have green, the blue, red, actions, and production and draw. The very top left up here, this is where you're going to put a little tracker on here to count how much mega credits production you have. Over here, this is your draw. So the more you have here, the more cards you're going to draw during the production phase. Over here, this is your heat. The higher the number, the more heat you produce. Over here, you have plants. The higher number, the more plants you produce. Down here, you have steel and titanium. Whenever you gain mega credits up here, you're going to put them on the right side. Heat, you're going to put them on the right side. Plants, you're going to put them on the right side. So all of those resources, you're going to end up putting on the right side so that way you can use them. And a lot of those you're going to use during your action phase. Now, the steel and the titanium will give you certain benefits on certain cards. Like steel makes buying building cards cheaper. And then the space cards will have a cheaper effect if you have titanium. So that's the benefit of having the steel and the titanium resources. There are other resources in this game beyond the heat and the plants and the mega credits and the steel and titanium that certain project cards may actually end up creating additional types of resources. So let's go into the manual and I'll show you some of the different resources and stuff. This manual is a manual that you will need to absorb for like an hour. It does take a while to read and consume everything. It goes over the contents. It does say 4 player boards come with this game, but in my copy, I ended up getting 5 player boards. So I don't know if that was a mistake, but I have not seen anywhere in the instructions that require 5 player boards. So over here you have the game board. It tells you about the game board. You have the card anatomy. It tells you about the card anatomies. I'm going to get into the production cards, the project cards very soon. Corporation cards. It tells you about the phase cards. It tells you about your player board. It tells you how to set up your game from top to bottom. And then it goes into the gameplay. It goes into your planning step. And then it goes into your resolve phases step, which you will actually go into every phase that everyone has voted in. If a phase was not in a vote, you are not going to play that phase. And then this goes into playing the project cards. So it goes into every single phase, kind of tells you action phase, production phase, etc. And then it goes into the end step. And during this step, each player discards down to 10 cards in your hand. So you cannot have more than 10 cards. For each card discarded this way, the player gains 3 mega credits. And then you flip over the phase tokens back to face down. In this game, when you have project cards, I'm going to get to it very soon, you can actually trade them in for money. So then it goes into this this appendix part where it shows you the symbols, and it goes over like what certain things mean, resources. So you have mega credits, you have plants, heat, and then you have special resources. So it's science, microbe, and animals could be additional resources. And then you go into tags, and then it lists all the tags here for you. It tells you about steel and titanium. And then there's also a 2-player co-op mode. 2-player co-op mode and a solo rules mode. So you can play solo in this game. The 2-player co-op and the solo mode they're kind of time-driven in a way. So you have to basically try to completely terraform Mars before time runs out. And then you have a kind of a quick game overview on the back of the manual. The other nice thing is that this game comes with a quick start guide. So it comes with the quick start guide. It tells you the similarities to Terraforming Mars and the differences from Terraforming Mars, the main game. And then it goes into a quick setup, and then it tells you about like the different phases, planning step, resolve phases, and then your end step. And then it goes into a quick reference on 2-player mode and solo mode, okay? Over here on the main game board, you'll actually see the 5 different phases as well. I have them face down. So this tells you, hey, this is development. So you have development, you have construction, you have actions, to resolve actions from your action cards, you have production here, and then you have research. I feel like research is going to be one of those ones that are probably people are not going to vote on too much unless you're really running out of cards, because research is where you do a lot of the draws. Let's go into some project cards. So actually, I can show you the ones in their hand. So every player, like I said before, gets 8 project cards in their hand to start off, except for this person over here, because their corporation allows them to start off with 3 additional cards. So the anatomy of a project card. So you have the cost of the project card up here on the top left. You have tags, the tags over here. So every project card will have some kind of a tag dictating what type of card it is. This is a blue card, which is an action card. So whenever you play it down, you can resolve actions on this card later on in the action step. So this says requires purple temperature as a requirement. Some of them will actually have requirements for that are on the main game board. And this says gain 1 plant or add a microbe to another card. Over here, this is a red card. These red cards are usually event cards that you can play. Their abilities do not trigger again later on in a different phase. You play them, and then once you play them, you immediately get their bonuses. What else do we have? The green cards are development cards. And then this one right here is going to give you something during the production phase. So what you do is you play this during your development phase, but then later on, once you get into production phase, you'll end up getting this. So this one says requires red oxygen or higher. So it does have a requirement for oxygen on the board. Then it says raise oxygen 1 step. And then during the production phase, this produces 2 heat. Cards will have immediate effects. So when you play this during your development phase, you're going to raise oxygen 1 step, and then during the production is when you get these other resources. And all the cards have a similar type of anatomy. And I'm going to go over here and see what this person has. They start off with the 11, like I said earlier, because of the corporation they have, allows them to have 3 additional cards. Here we go. We have development, we have action cards, and then we have the red event cards. Yeah, so everything's pretty much the same. This purple here is an effect. So if you see a card with a purple on there, that means it's an effect that something happens. So this says this one equals 1 victory point per 2 animals on this card. So this card right here, you can actually generate animal resources on top of it. So whenever you generate animal resources, you're going to end up putting those resources on here because they're not going to go on your main player board. All right, so let's just go ahead and start off just to show you kind of how the game is played. I'm not going to go deep into it. Again, this is a game that there's so many things going on here. I feel like I'm going to miss something because yeah, there's a lot to it. So this person has what? A lot of green, right? I'm going to go ahead and do a development. Select development. So I'm going to put that down. Now, if you notice, I also have my starting money here on each of the player boards because this is the starting mega credits they have for their corporation. So this player over here is got what? A lot of blue and red. They're going to choose construction. This phase will allow them to play a blue or a red card. Okay? So they're going to put that down. And in this game, you're playing simultaneously, just like it's a Wonderful World. In that game, you have simultaneous play on the phases. This is the same type of thing. So the beginning of this round, we're in the planning, right? Everyone reveals. They all reveal what they selected. So development and construction. And then what you do is you flip over the phases on the board that were selected. Development and construction. So these are the ones that are in play. So now we're going to go into each of the phases. So we're going to go to development phase first. This person here selected development. And since they selected development, they're going to pay 3 less mega credits for the card that they play during this phase. Okay? Up here, this ability means that everyone can do this. Each player may play 1 green project card. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, what this person's going to play. So we have one right here for 9 credits. Now remember, you can end up taking a project card and discarding it to get 3 mega credits per card. And you can do this at any time. So this person, okay, there's one right here. This one produces 2 plants right here. But it requires 5 ocean tiles to be flipped. So I can't play that. Is there one that's cheap? So this one requires red temperature. Can't play that. What does this one do? During the production phase, this produces 1 mega credit. When you play a building, you pay 2 mega credits less for it. All right, so they're going to play this. So they're going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to move this player board over a little bit since we have plenty of room. So what they tell you in the instructions of this game is that put your cards to the right of your player board as you're playing them, and it makes it easier. It saves less. It saves on table space. Okay, so they're going to pay 7 mega credits for this. So I'm going to put this in, grab 3 more of these coppers back. So I'm paid for that. Oh, but wait a minute. I pay 3 less because this player selected development. So I get 3 back. So I paid 3 less. So in reality, I only paid 4 for it. So that's what this player is going to play. They're going to put that down there. So now they will get this as production during the production phase whenever we hit production, right? This player is going to go now. They get to play a green card too, right? And everyone's doing this simultaneously during this phase. It's not like it's not like this person plays and then you have to wait for this person over here. Now, so how do they handle certain things with conflicts, like raising the gauge, and then one person raises it and another person raises it, and what happens if one person raises it beyond or at the max? Well, in this game, they say that even if you raise something at the max, during that phase, whenever you raise it to the max, every player can still get the benefit even though one of the players raised it to the max. But it can only be on the phase that that particular meter has hit the max. After that phase, and then it's already there at the max, you can't capitalize that anymore to get any more TRs. Now this player has got two greens, but can he play a green? You may play a green card from your hand that has a printed cost of 9 MC or less without paying its MC cost. All right, so that's kind of cool. So this one right here, during the production phase, draw a card. So, this person might, I don't know, they might do that. Let's have them spend, what they might do is they might discard for something for 3. So what they might do is they might discard this player over here. We'll put this in the discard pile over here. And what's going to happen is they'll end up getting three mega credits for that, because every time you discard a card you get 3. And then what they'll do is they'll end up buying this card right here that's worth 18, and they're going to put it over here. So we're going to put that, it's worth 18. Let's go ahead and spend our 18. 5, so 3, okay, so now they're left with 12 mega credits in order to purchase that. So now we're done with that phase, and then we're gonna go down to the construction phase. So every player gets to play a blue card. So this player over here, do they have a blue card? Yeah, they have one with 9. Requires red temperature or warmer. That will not work. This one right here equals 1 VP per 2 animals on this card. Okay, maybe they'll buy this. I don't know, this is the only blue card they have. So what they'll do is they'll buy this ecological zone. And this one's what, 11? So we'll do this. And then we'll put ecological zone on top. So what they do is they tell you to put the blue and the reds up here and the greens over here going this way. And you kind of overlap them in a way to the right. How many cards do I have here? Do I have more than 8 or more than 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope. So I don't have to discard there. So that's good. This player is going to go. Let's see what kind of cards they have. Maybe what they'll do. So this requires purple temperature. So that's not bad, because this right here I won't be able to play later on, because once this temperature gets to red or yellow or white, I won't be able to play this. So I might as well play this now. So we'll spend 10. Then we'll go ahead and put this over here and spend it right there. So there you go. So we got blue. And then you get down to the end of the round. And what you do is you flip these over. Bum, 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 bum. You discard down to 10 cards. Whoever has that, discard down to 10 cards. And we're going to go ahead and start the next round and pick the next phase. So you cannot pick the same phase that you picked earlier. That's one of the rules. You have to choose a different phase. This person picked construction phase over here. So now what they're going to do is they're going to switch it up. They're going to go ahead and they'll probably do development instead. So we're going to put this down. They tell you to put the card down and overlapping like that. That way you know not to pick that other card up yet. You can do that if you want. I feel like once you play a card, you know what card you already played anyway. So it doesn't really matter. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick production for this guy over here. So we'll pick production. So we'll put that down. Everyone puts down their cards like that. And then what happens is you reveal the cards. Dun, 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 dun. So we got production and we got development. So we're going to go ahead and flip over development. And we're going to flip over production. And then these cards go back into your hand. Okay, so these go back into the hand for next time, because these are the cards that are being played right now. So now we go into development. Each player goes ahead and looks at their cards. You know what? One thing I didn't do from last time. So one thing that I didn't do last time on this person is the bonus, because they had a bonus for drawing a card. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now from the last phase. And I'm going to draw another project card, okay? because they should have gotten the bonus. And that's why I said there's so many things to keep track of in this game. Let's see, what are they going to do? They have only what? They have 15. Okay, so we have 15, 19 credits. We could discard cards too to get some more credits. Okay, let's do this one. This one's 17. It gives me 2 titanium, which is fantastic. And then when you play a card, a space card like that, you pay 6 mega credits less for it, which is fantastic. So it's 17 for this, right? So what do we have? We have 10. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so we got enough. We have 17 right here. I'm going to dump that on there. So I'm going to put this. And what they do is they tell you to overlap it just like this. To overlap it like that. I overlap it like this because I still want to read the text. But if you already know what these mean, these symbols, because sometimes these symbols, there's so many different types of symbols on these cards, it's hard to tell what exactly it means. Like on this one, it's pretty straightforward. But then you have other ones that have these colons and all these weird stuff, and you're like, what does that mean? So you can either overlap it like this, or you can overlap it like that, so all the tags line up and these line up. So it's whichever way you prefer. I prefer it like that, but that's okay. All right, so they bought that. Now we go over here, and what they gotta play, they gotta buy a green card. They don't have any money. They could discard a lot of this stuff, but they pay 3 mega credits less because of the bonus. So they can spend 12, but they only have 2 right here. They can't really do anything here because I don't have enough money. I could discard some of these cards, but I don't know if I want to because this one allows me to draw 2. So I might not do anything here for this person. Then we go into the production phase right here. And during this production phase, you're going to get what your production is going to give you. So during the production phase, this person over here gets to draw a card. So they get to draw another card. So they pulled out Development Center right here. Before you get to the point where you're building your engine to build up enough of these mega credits and build up mega credits, these cards that you get are going to be a good chunk of your income, especially early on in the game as far as getting rid of them. Now we go over here. This person gains 4 mega credits because they chose production, and they get that as a bonus. So let's go over here, and so this person was able to draw a card. Now over here in the production, they get another mega credit from this. It says whenever you play a building card, you pay 2 less mega credits for it, which is fantastic. Then they also get 2 titanium. So their little titanium marker goes up right there because they get 2. I can't do anything else because this is production. So I gain 4 mega credits and that's it. And that's it. Okay, and we're done. And there you go. And that's the end of that. And then you're going to head and flip over your face cards again. And then discard down to 10 cards. But this is kind of how the game is played. You're building your engine to the right of your player board out. You're building out your cards as you're playing these project cards. And then each player is voting for particular phases. Now, this game goes up to 4 players. Now, right here, I've only had it for 2 players. So there's not a whole lot of phases that we're playing, right? But in a 3 or 4 player game, you're going to have additional phases where you're going to be doing things. But yeah, so you build up your engine, and then you're raising the temperature, you're raising the oxygen level. Every time you end up flipping over an ocean, you get a TR, you get to move up your token. Every time you raise one of these, you get a TR, and you get to move up your token. So during this little play session I did with the 2 rounds, I did not raise any of these or flip anything. But eventually you're going to. These will eventually start being raised, and you'll start flipping, and then your TR on the board is going to go up, which is your terraforming rating. And this will count as victory points. So this will count as victory points, these tiles that you get, these forest VP tiles. And then your TR on the board will also count as victory points. Once you raise this all the way up, once you raise that all the way up, and once you flip all of these tokens, you count your TR plus your victory point stuff that you get from cards and from the forest token. And then whoever has the most victory points wins the game. Yeah, but it's really cool. I like it. It is a little different from It's a Wonderful World. It's a little bit more complicated and it doesn't have the whole card drafting. But like I said before, it's a little similar with having these phases and these productions. And everyone plays at the same time, just like It's a Wonderful World. But it's way more complicated. So I feel like this is a game that's better if you have people that want to play more of a complicated game. And they don't want to play something so simple, then this could actually be a pretty good option. I actually like it. I like the components too. But that's it, guys. I am Jim, the Game Guru. If you like this video, please like, and I will see you guys later. Bye.